PEMF is a natural therapy that is highly praised in wellness and biohacking circles, but does it live up to the hype? That's exactly what we're talking about in today's episode. We're diving into what this treatment is, who it's for, and whether or not it's worth it or wasteful so that you can focus your health goals on what's most impactful for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Wellness for High Performers, where ambitious people discover the path to sustainable wellness that actually feels good so they can build the dream without burning out. I'm your host, Erica Jones. I'm a wellness strategist and entrepreneur, and I help high performers create massive momentum by weaving wellness into their daily life. Well, hello there, high performer. I hope that your 2026 is off to a fabulous start. I'm very eager to jump into today's episode because it's the first of its kind on this show. This episode style is called Wellness Trends on Trial, where I'm unpacking popular wellness trends and helping you decide whether or not it's worth your investment. I'm your host, Erica Jones. I'm a wellness strategist and entrepreneur, and I help high performers create energy and momentum by weaving wellness into their daily life. And I don't know about you, but I don't like wasting my money. And I definitely don't like wasting my time or my attention. My time and my attention are two of my most valuable assets because once they're used up, they're gone. There's no going back to retrieve what was spent, and they're limited. So wherever I'm investing my time and attention, I want to see an ROI. And I bet you do too. As high performers, we feel this more than anyone. When you have a packed schedule, you don't have a minute in your day to waste. If anything gets added to my plate, it has to add massive value to my life, including anything that I might add to my wellness routine. So if you're also a tiger about your time or you want to be, it's essential to regularly think about where you're investing your time and attention. And this is why I'm doing this episode style called Wellness Trends on Trial. So, too often I see people rushing to fill their shopping carts with the latest health gadgets and supplements because they saw someone on social media talking about how it quote unquote changed their life. Yet there's little thought to how they will actually use what they're purchasing and whether or not it's a strategic investment or a waste. So, I want to talk for a minute about this concept of strategy when it comes to our health because most people don't think about this at all. When I think of strategy, the question is this routine, treatment, therapy, or supplement the next best step for me? I'll give you an example of where strategy is applied and where it's not applied. Let's say Susie Q is having issues with her hormones and it's causing mood swings and food cravings and breakouts. And she hears about red light therapy from a friend who's been raving about it. And she decides to splurge to the tune of hundreds of dollars for her own device. Well, let me tell you why this is a problem. This is not a strategic move for Susie Q. If her goal is to get results with her primary pain point, which in this case is the hormone issues, red light therapy is not the most direct way to address that. Can it provide benefits? Absolutely, but it's not the most direct benefit. Here's an example that might hit this home. Let's say you've run out of eggs and need to go to the store. The most direct route would be to just drive straight to the grocery store. Simple, right? A very indirect route would be to drive an unknown scenic country road and hope that you run into a grocery store on the way that has some eggs that you can buy. The first way is very direct. You know that by driving straight to the grocery store and going to the egg section, you are mostly guaranteed to walk out of that store with some eggs. The second example is akin to Susie Q's lack of strategy in addressing her hormone issues. She recognizes the problem, something's off with her hormones, but instead of going directly to the solution, she chooses red light therapy. This is a modality that can have benefits, but they are not the biggest needle mover for her for this issue. Now, if you have tons of time to waste, by all means, go the scenic route. But if you're someone who wants to get results and you want the time and money you invest into your wellness to deliver, you have to be more strategic than Susie Q. Susie Q is representative of what most people are doing. They are blindly throwing darts at their health and hoping that they will get results. But you're not going to do that because you're smarter than that and you're going to make sure that you're getting results. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. Not who has the most trendy, most curated Instagram feed, who is actually living in the result. And that's why I'm big on the elevated method that prioritizes simplicity and strategy and sustainability for wellness. This is the framework for getting results. So now that I've covered that aspect, let's talk about PEMF and what it is. So, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to call this PEMF. So, what is PEMF therapy? So, PEMF stands for pulsed electromagnetic field. I've also heard people refer to it as pulsed electromagnetic frequency. However, it's referred to, just know that these two names are essentially the same thing. Most companies promoting PEMF are selling a consumer product that's essentially a mat. That's what I've seen. I haven't seen any other version of this. You can lay on it or sit on it, and by doing so, you receive the therapy. So, what exactly is the therapy? Well, PEMF uses low electromagnetic waves to promote cellular activity and encourage the body's natural healing pathways. So, the energy is targeted towards areas of the body that are injured or in need of cellular repair or regeneration. And you may be wondering, well, how do electromagnetic waves heal cells? Well, every cell in your body runs on cellular energy. This is a biological process. If you remember Krebs cycle from biology class, many of us would like to forget it, but it is the creation of cellular energy. Your cells are like microscopic factories that have many, many jobs. They repair damage, they reduce inflammation in your body, they build new tissues, they communicate to other cells, they process nutrients, and a lot more. But they need power to do so. And that power comes from the energy produced inside the cell. And the more energy available, the faster and more efficient the body becomes at healing and overall optimizing for wellness. So, this is where the claims around PEMF therapy come in. So, people say that PEMF increases cellular energy. They say that it reduces inflammation, relieves pain, improves sleep and recovery, that it can support circulation and oxygen delivery, that it accelerates healing and tissue repair, and that it regulates the nervous system and overall increases longevity and vitality. But does it really do all of these things, and to what extent? Well, let's look at some of the top claims and unpack it. So the first claim is that PEMF increases cellular energy. This is one of the most common claims, and what it essentially means is that PEMF can support cell to cell communication, thereby improving their function and the output of energy of those cells. And it's mostly true that PEMF does support cell to cell communication, but some people overstate the benefits by making it sound like PEMF directly increases cellular energy. The second claim is that PEMF reduces inflammation, leading to less pain and faster healing. Many people report reduced joint pain and improvement with muscle soreness, stiffness, chronic pain, arthritis, back pain, and improvement with injury recovery after using PEMF. I think this is one of the strongest reasons to use it. There are studies that show benefits for pain and inflammation. And I'm not one that thinks we need a study for every little thing. For example, I don't need a research paper to tell me that eating healthy and getting out in the fresh air is a good idea. But I do think with new technologies like this, it's helpful to have research wherever we can get it. Just keep in mind that these types of modalities are often underfunded for research because they're alternative treatments. So I wanted to cite the supporting research whenever I can get it, but just know that my perspective is not necessarily that research is always a requirement for using a specific therapy or modality. Claim number three is that PEMF improves sleep and recovery by helping the body relax. Another claim that really goes in tandem with this one is that PEMF resets the nervous system. I'll talk about the two of these together because they go hand in hand. Some people do report feeling calmer or more relaxed after sessions with PEMF, and this can definitely translate into better sleep and improved nervous system regulation, helping a person get out of that fight or flight mode and into the parasympathetic rest and digest state. But with that said, PEMF is not a quick fix or a substitute for a solid bedtime routine and regularly reducing stress in your everyday life. Claim number four is that PEMF improves vitality and longevity. This claim combines all of the previous ones into one big promise. And I understand the thought process behind doing that, but it's important to remember that longevity and vitality are shaped by many other lifestyle factors like exercise and sleep, nutrition, the health of your relationships, your stress levels, all of these things, not just a single therapy. So, those are some of the most common claims that people make about the benefits and the reasons why you would want to use a PEMF device. The big takeaway here is that PEMF can be powerful for your health, but it shouldn't be looked at as a cure all. Most responsible companies don't position it this way. It really should be viewed as a modality that helps the body do what it's already designed to do, just more efficiently and with extra support. It's not going to replace your basic health habits. So if a company is making claims like this replaces everything in your health routine, be skeptical, run for the hills. If a claim promises dramatic universal results, again, be skeptical, probably run for the hills. If the claim sounds more reasonable, like this supports recovery alongside your regular daily health habits, that's more reasonable. So, those are the kinds of things that you want to be looking out for if you're considering purchasing a mat. So, the second thing we'll explore is who is PEMF for? Well, the best probability of getting a positive result is for people dealing with pain and inflammation. This has the most support in terms of an ROI for people that used it for this reason. But there's also other benefits to it. You can use it for any of the other reasons that I mentioned before, but your result may or may not be a grand slam. If you're not already doing the basics, which I talk about in my Wellness Without Limits audio challenge, a PEMF mat is not where I would invest my time and energy. You need to be crushing the fundamentals first before jumping into what I would call a more advanced wellness therapy. So, who is PEMF not for? I would definitely consult a doctor first if you have pacemakers or any kind of implanted simulator. Some people say folks with seizure disorders should take caution in using it. So, if any of those types of situations apply to you, then I would probably consult your health provider first. Now, if you do decide to move forward with purchasing a PEMF mat, just know that not all products are created equal. There's a lot of scammy people out there looking to make a quick buck off of uneducated consumers. So, what I'm going to do is give you some things to look out for if you do decide to add this to your routine. Now, the first distinction I want to make is the medical grade mats are FDA cleared. They're prescription level devices. They're used for a specific clinical result. This means that the device has been reviewed, it's been approved by the FDA for a specific condition. This is not to be confused with FDA registered devices, which sounds like, oh, these are very effective. But really, FDA registered only means that the company has registered their device with the FDA, which is a basic requirement. I'm pretty sure they all have to do this. So when you see FDA registered, understand that it has no clinical weight whatsoever. If it's FDA cleared, then that means it's backed by the FDA for specific conditions. For example, bone growth. That's one of the medical reasons someone may want to use a PEMF device. Now, I've not found any consumer driven PEMF mats, the kind that you can use without a doctor, that are approved or cleared by the FDA. This doesn't mean that those PEMF mats can't be effective, but I just want you to be aware of the landscape and especially false claims, false advertising. So watch out for any kind of consumer facing company that claims FDA support for their product. The second distinction I want to make is around device intensity. When you're looking for a quality PEMF mat, the intensity matters a lot. PEMF strength is measured in microtesla, Gauss, and millitesla. The higher the intensity, the deeper the effects. The lower the intensity, the more surface level the effects. Many low quality mats have low intensity, which may not produce the results that you're looking for. I would avoid products that don't have any intensity specs at all, or those that use vague language like wellness waves. A quality PEMF device should list an intensity range, a waveform type, and frequency settings. Now, if you're confused right now, because I said at the beginning that PEMF is a device using low electromagnetic waves, there is a difference between that and low intensity. Low electromagnetic waves is mostly a reference to the safety of the device. So the waves are much safer than what you would experience with an x ray or with radiation. The waves are low, making it a safe device for everyday use. But in a high quality treatment, you want the intensity of those waves to be strong. So that's the second distinction. It's around intensity. The third is around frequency and waveforms. These things matter. So, speaking of waves, on a quality device, you want a specific frequency and waveform. Low frequencies are calming and they promote cell signaling. Companies that don't publish their waveform type, the pulse pattern, the frequency settings are companies you should probably approach with a lot of caution. The other distinction I'm going to make is the pricing. The thing I would watch out for is too good to be true pricing. PEMF devices vary widely in their cost. You can get them for as little as $100 and pay as much as thousands. I would steer clear of the super cheap ones because these are the types that are most likely not very high quality. They're very low intensity, and then they're a waste of your money. But pricier also doesn't always mean that it's better. I would still do a quality check on any device if you're looking to purchase one, even if it's more on the expensive side. So, to sum everything up, PEMF devices can be beneficial in your wellness routine, especially if you're dealing with pain and inflammation. They are not a substitute for the basics, and they are not a magic shortcut to wellness and longevity. So before you splurge on a PEMF mat, ask yourself, is this solving my real problem? Because if it's something like weight loss or low energy, this is unlikely to be a big needle mover for you, and you're better off investing your focus elsewhere. The second thing you want to ask is, have I optimized the fundamentals first? If the answer to that is no, you don't have a solid fitness routine or a nutrition plan, I would focus there. If you need help with that, my Wellness Without Limits audio challenge is made for high performers who want to nail the 6 fundamentals of wellness and longevity for more energy, productivity, and focus. And that's linked for you in the show notes. And finally, if you're like, actually, I am interested in Pimp Matt Erica, but I'm not interested in doing a ton of research to find a good one. Well, no problem, because I've got you covered there too. I've already done the research for you, and I'll link you to the PIMF mat that we use and love in the show notes. Well, hopefully, this has cleared up the air with respect to PIMF mats. I thank you so much for being here and listening to this first episode of Wellness Trends on Trial. I hope you're leaving this episode feeling more clear on your next step, more grounded, more energized, and even more capable of building the life you want. For deeper conversations like this, join me at elevays.com. That's ELEVAYS.com, and get on the list for my weekly newsletter, The Elite Edge. It's where I share insights you won't find anywhere else. I'll see you in the next episode, but until then, make time for what matters.